I'm Rooney Limery, the Operations Manager at the Breast Cancer Resource Center. I initially started at the BCRC as the Patient Navigator for Young Survivor Services to provide guidance and education for those diagnosed with breast cancer at 45 and younger, and to those with school-aged children, the group known today as the Pink Ribbon Cowgirls. This year, we are celebrating our 15-year anniversary. Today, I'm delighted to talk to the co-founders of the Pink Ribbon Cowgirls. I've known them for a long time and have the deepest admiration for each one of them. I would like to introduce Michelle Burton, Audra Outlaw, and Shauna Martin. Hi, ladies. Thanks for being here. Yeah, hi. If you can please share a little bit about yourself and where you're at when you were first diagnosed with breast cancer.
I'll jump in, Shauna Martin. So I was first diagnosed with breast cancer about 16 years ago. My son was 1 at the time, so I discovered my breast cancer while I was still breastfeeding. I found a lump and was then quickly diagnosed with it was like stage 3 breast cancer, and had all the usual treatments of chemotherapy, double mastectomy, reconstruction, and was actually cancer free for 12 years. And then my breast cancer came back 3 years ago, this time as metastatic, meaning it's stage 4. It had spread to other parts of my body, namely into my skeleton, into my bone. And so I've been in treatment for stage 4 breast cancer for the last 3 years. And that's a whole other, a whole other project. Because for those of you who don't know that much about breast cancer, once it's stage 4, there's really no known cure for it. And so it's something you have to be in treatment for the rest of your life. It's considered, I think, now a managed disease and ultimately terminal. But they have great medicine out for it. So my little baby that was 1 is now a giant 16-year-old. He's like 6'1", it's so crazy. Every fall during October, he shaves like a pink ribbon into the back of his head, and then he wears it for every soccer game. It's pretty cool.
Oh, that's sweet. Thank you, Shauna.
I'm Audra Outlaw. I was diagnosed in 2002, so 19 years ago. I was 31. 2 large tumors. I think the staging is different now, but I think at the time it was 2B. We were a little unknown of my lymph node status. I had all of my chemotherapy up front, and then bilateral mastectomy and reconstruction. I have been considered cancer-free since then. I did have my implants removed 2 years ago and went with no reconstruction. So I'm now flat, and it's been actually a great experience. I feel much better physically. And I know reconstruction has changed a lot since in the last 20 years, so they're different now. I had very hard saline implants, so for me it was a good thing and a good choice. And I have 3 kids. I had none at the time. I had just been married 8 months when I was diagnosed. I was considered infertile for 2 years after treatment. And then we could tell my system was starting to kick back in, and just went for it and ended up having 3 boys. One is 16 now, just turned 16 yesterday. One is 14 and one is 10.
Thank you, Audra.
My name's Michelle Burton, and I was diagnosed at the age of 32 back in 2002, and had no children at the time. But 2 weeks after I was diagnosed, I learned that I was pregnant, and had treatment throughout the pregnancy. So I had a lumpectomy and chemo, and then went on with radiation, which always comes with lumpectomy. But after my daughter was born, and let's see, I went on to have another child later, and now have a 18-year-old and a 10-year-old. And I just wanted to say that, if pregnancy and cancer is really, really rare, but they have come so far with that, and my daughter's doing great. So that's something that you have to face. She's doing great today.
Thank you, Michelle. And I think that's a wonderful story of hope. And I know for myself personally, I also had breast cancer when I was very young, and was told as I was aging that I wouldn't be able to. And I have a little daughter now. She is 3, and she is definitely keeping me on my toes. So just want to really offer a lot of people a story of hope. So thank you, ladies, for sharing all that. So how did you all meet, and how did the idea of coming up with a young survivor group, how did this come about?
I had almost forgotten this story, and I was recently interviewed for our bra and asked the same question. So I had to refresh my memory on it. And I believe we were put together actually by the then executive director of the breast cancer research center, and that was again like 10 years ago. And she had wanted for a long time to put together a young survivor program, and she had separately encountered all 3 of us because we each were diagnosed, in our early 30s with young children or no children, or we were all basically in the same stage of life. And so she added us all to the board of directors of the Breast Cancer Resource Center, and then had us form a subcommittee called the Young Survivor Committee. And then she sent us all off to the Young Survivor Coalition Young Survivor Retreat that they have annually. And so we all boarded planes from Austin and went there together. And it was a really cool experience. I mean, we had never, at least I had not. I think actually Michelle and Audra had been there before. Yeah. I was still in the middle of treatment. I was bald as a Q-tip. And I just remember thinking, wow, there's like other women like me. And I'd never been in like a whole room of other like really young women. And so it was a really cool opportunity and experience for us. And we really bonded.
Yeah, and I would say, just to add to that, Michelle and I had met a bit before that. I had gotten involved in Young Survival Coalition, like many young survivors, looking for other people and not being able to find them. Young people going through the same things. And I remember I would go to the BCRC meetings and have a little button that said, young women can and do get breast cancer, and hand out information on Young Survival Coalition. And then somebody had put me at BCRC had put me in touch with Michelle, and we talked. I remember it was just not long before I think Brianna was born.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Your pregnancy.
Yeah.
And we got, we just really got to know each other and realized, this is a good thing. This is being able to talk with other people in our age and stage is just really necessary. So then we got put together with Shauna and went to the Young Survival Coalition convention and just took off from there. I remember being on the plane on the way home, and that's when the name came up, and like it all started rolling.
I remember it. We were, we had met this really great group of girls from Ohio, and they called themselves the Pink Ribbon Girls. And they had basically tried to replicate a young survivor group at home. And, that's what we thought we should do, just based on the camaraderie we felt at the event, being among like 500 young survivors. We were like, we need to do this back home so that we can, support each other, because survivors face a whole host of issues that are very different from older women. We are still in the middle of our careers, trying to navigate career and treatment. We have either not had kids, or we're trying to have kids, or we have young kids. And so we have a whole host of fertility issues to face. And so it's just a whole different ballgame when you're young and have, little kids underfoot, or you're planning to have a family. And so we really felt that our needs were different, and we needed to have basically kind of a different support group.
And I think too, we are just so drawn to each other, especially once we met. But I think because so often young women go to the doctor or to other support groups, and they won't find women their own age, even sitting in the waiting room to talk to. And so it became a really powerful thing to be able to get together with others. And I think certainly being at a convention, or not convention, but a conference like we went to with hundreds of young women there, it's a really powerful thing. And I think all that really brought us together and gave us the desire to create what we have here today.
Yeah, and I think like we quickly realized that doing it through the BCRC was the way to go. I mean, the organization just had such an amazing presence in Austin, and it was just such a natural offshoot of BCRC. It was great for us.
Yes, and so I know what really, I know the backstory, but not everyone knows the backstory. But Art Bra Austin is now BCRC's signature event that raises a third of BCRC's budget. And this year is going to be June 5th, and it will be a virtual event due to COVID-19. But how did Art Bra come to be?
That's a good story. So we, the three of us, Audra, Michelle, and I, we sort of ran the committee, out of a conference room in my law office for a year, just coming up with the committee goals and, running meetings. We had lunches and so support groups. But after running it ourselves for about a year, we realized, we've got day jobs and our families to raise, and we really needed to turn it kind of back over to the BCRC because we created the foundation there, and it needed to become a full-time program of the Breast Cancer Resource Center. And they're, this is what they do, patient navigation and support groups. This is their expertise. So we went back to them and said, okay, we really need you guys to take this. We're volunteers. And they said, well, we think you need to hire your own patient navigator, but there's no funds to do that. And so they said, create a fundraiser. And they had some good ideas. And one of them was actually an idea that to create art out of a bra, to actually, get all our friends and family members together that were artists and create all these beautiful bras and create a work of art out of a bra, essentially. And so we did that. And then when we got the bras in, I said, oh, we have to model these. They're just so cool and so spectacular. And it should be survivors modeling. It should be us, the Pink Ribbon Cowgirls, modeling them. And they gave us the latitude to go interview candidates. Rooney was in the candidate pool, and we interviewed her and just knew she was the right person for the job, having been a survivor and young. And so Rooney was hired and took over the program and ran it for years. And of course, is still, a vital member of the staff of the BCRC. So that was the first year, and it grew every year past that because it was just such an inspirational event.
It's been so great to see how it's evolved, and just the bras have just really are just so phenomenal. And you're right. I think the community aspect for the models is really what BCRC is about and what the Pink Ribbon Cowgirls is about. I know that, back in 2006, when this all started for you all, and when I was hired a year later, there were 40 members, and you guys were using a Yahoo group, and one support luncheon a month and quarterly social events. And then in 2012, we saw a need for a young metastatic group called the L4 or the Lotus Forum, because we realized that there was a unique community having such different needs, as Shauna mentioned earlier. And so that was an offshoot of the Pink Ribbon Cowgirls, but it was made such an easy transition because the Pink Ribbon Cowgirls already existed. And then now in 2021, we have over 500 members on our online forum, and we had to transition our face-to-face luncheons to several virtual ones that we offer a month due to COVID-19. So we're hoping that we'll be able to see each other face to face again. But that's pretty amazing what has happened in 15 years. So, I mean, I hope you all are just so proud of what you guys have done. And do you have any last closing thoughts or any impact or anything you want to share before we close?
Well, it is, I mean, to me, it's like really it's really amazing that it has turned into such a wonderful organization. And I understand it also serves as a model for other communities who want to start similar organizations, which is just so fantastic. Personally, I think one of the cool aspects of it was kind of the effect it's had on our children. Because, you kind of didn't know, like, so I had a 1-year-old, Audra had like just several toddlers, right? And Michelle had like a 2 or 3-year-old when we started this, and we put so much, of our time into it. And so breast cancer has been omnipresent in their lives. And, I was like, okay, what's that going to do to them? Is it going to like, how does that affect a child, right, as they grow up? Just breast cancer being such a part of the dialogue of their everyday life. And I think it's had an amazing effect, at least on my child. He's, that's his cause. That's what he wants to do. He like wears a chain every day. He's going to get a tattoo. He like basically sprays it into the back of his head. So it's been cool.
Thank you for sharing that, Shauna. Cooper is an amazing young man. Anything else, Audra or Michelle, you'd like to share any last final thoughts?
Yeah, I think, just the relationships that we were able to form. And, there are people who have come and gone. There are people who passed away. And they just live on in all of us. I mean, just never forgotten. And they had impact on other people that they got to talk to. And I mean, I know it's a big organization now, but I just still feel like the heart of it is just the one-on-one, that connecting with somebody that you feel is going through something similar, that you can confide in, that you can maybe see at a different stage and find hope. I think that's just been such a lasting impact for me, is just the people I've met and every single story of every single person that I've encountered through the organization.
Absolutely, I agree completely. It's about the community, and I think says a lot about I think the BCRC and everyone who's been a part of it. The way that people are vulnerable and share and connect, and it's just a really wonderful thing. I think that's kind of key to it. That's what allows people to connect and experience all of it. Mm-hmm.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, there's no substitute for, I have a sister who, has been through breast cancer as well. But I can't imagine not having a sister that understands what I'm going through. And that's what's created by the Pink Ribbon Cowgirls, is the sisterhood of women know exactly what you're going through. And there's, you may have this wonderful, set of girlfriends out there, but they don't get it, not like someone that's going through it or that has been through it. And so it's just like this sisterhood that's so crucial when you're going through treatment and afterwards. Different people react differently as the years go by. Some people just want to forget it, and some people have the need to stay connected.
Yes, thank you.
And I do agree, it's such a wonderful way to honor our I call them our fallen cowgirls. I don't know if that's the correct term or even appropriate, but that's just sort of my little term. It's a beautiful list of women who gave their time and effort, despite being in the middle of metastatic, treatment. There's so many of them. They were amazing.
No, just the memories of there's so many, and there's just too many. And your vision 15 years ago to start this Young Survivor program has impacted so many people of all stages. And there's too many lists. And so, but that's what you guys have done. You have created this beautiful community that brings hope and love, and a network of sisters that just understand exactly what the other person's going through. And they show up to give support and to get support. And it's been happening for 15 years now. So I appreciate all that you have done in the last 15 years. And we also appreciate all our members. So thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate you all.